sorry for all the kids watching. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ultimate Business Show. I'm Bobby Serval, and today I've got a fantastic guest, Mr. Karl Green, who is an ANZ mobile lender, and he's going to talk to us all about lending and how you can get finance and just business in general. Karl, how are you, my friend?
Good, Bobby. Yourself?
Very good, very good. Now, you've been in banking for a little while, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I first joined ANZ back in 2004.
Wow.
So quite a long time ago, straight from high school. The plan was only to ever be a part-time banker and go to uni, but obviously time has shown differently. And ANZ was quite supportive with my university and other opportunities to continue on working with them. So yeah, I did close to 11 years inside ANZ in different roles.
Wow.
Being branch manager, business banking, different roles. And then from there had a great opportunity to be able to buy into ANZ as a franchisee.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So ANZ were quite supportive throughout the whole time as for yourself to grow.
Yeah, so they've been really supportive along the years. Don't quote me the exact year, but around 2003, my wife and I had an opportunity to open a 24-hour gym. And you do actually have to get sort of semi-approval from ANZ that you're going to be opening a business outside of, working full time. Okay. Not that it can really stop you, but just because, I suppose, out of respect that, you have a side business as well as working full time. And they were very supportive throughout that as well. And over the years, honestly, they've been fantastic.
That's really good. So tell us a little bit about when you first started. So you just start off as a teller or?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was literally a full-time teller working in the city. Back then, banking was probably a little bit more old school, 04 it is now. Still, we had things like passbooks, so stamping people's passbooks and looking after general ledgers and a few different things that just don't exist in branches these days.
Yes.
Even handwriting out checks for settlement agencies on St George's Terrace for people to go do physical settlements. So yeah.
If you're still using checks these days, please just don't do it anymore. It's frustrating for all of us.
Damn, I had a client for you, Bobby. He only uses checks. He's going to pay you in check as well.
He's going to pay you in check. No, so why I ask is because I understand, knowing you for a little while now, moving yourself up the ranks has really helped you, I guess, develop your skills into mobile lending, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, I suppose the opportunity to run branches, and some of the teams were quite large. I'd have 10, 15 staff. It gave me the opportunity to mentor staff, coach and train them from the staffing side, and then from the business side, you really had to treat that branch like your own business anyways. So whether it be working with current stakeholders, referral partners, getting out and building community awareness of the branch and doing community things like charity events, business development, the whole suite of what you do as a business owner, but as a branch manager. And back in those days, the area managers were very supportive with us treating it like our own business. So that really gave me a good platform to learn how to run a business, really.
Fantastic. Yeah. And that's, I suppose we deal with a lot of self-employed people, and I guess for yourself, because you mentioned before you've got a couple of businesses within the family group, having that employee background, but the employer giving you that ownership to go, hey, listen, this is your baby, this is yours, and it's make or break with you. And I suppose it's fight or flight for yourself, just like a lot of our small business clients as well, where it's you need to do everything you can do to maintain your business growth, whether it's maintaining KPIs, managing the right staff, hiring the right staff, and making sure that they're performing to get, I guess, the business as a whole, or the branch in your case as a whole, moving forward and to meet the criteria that, I guess, in your then employer ANZ was required.
Yeah.
And what were the biggest pitfalls and benefits that I suppose you got out of being branch manager? Like, what were the most stressful times?
Look, some of the most stressful times was managing a lot of staff and of different ages and different backgrounds and different experiences as well. And, you'd come together as a team and have a common goal that worked towards, but not every staff member wanted to sort of follow that path and would buck the trend. And lots of difficult conversations with staff and, I might have staff and different life stages as well. Like, so some staff would be 18, 19, and they'd be coming to work a little bit hungover, or coming to work late, or back there playing on their phone a lot. Just different things where you'd have maybe different issues with some of the older staff that were just demotivated, been in the bank for 30 years and really didn't want to worry about sales.
Yep.
They were fantastic with their customers and would literally, do anything for their customers, but they didn't really want to follow change, and change is healthy in business.
It is.
And weren't really open to different ways of doing business. So all those different facets of running the branch really help when it come to running my own business, and then supporting my wife and family with the other businesses, just because it gives you so many different life lessons, really.
That's great.
So, yeah.
That's great. That's great you said that, because life lessons don't have to be your own learnings. You can learn it from other people as well. Like you said, you've got people from all walks of life that you had to manage, and I imagine you learnt a lot from them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was a two-way street. Yeah, definitely learnt a lot from them, and learnt from my mistakes as well.
Of course.
So yeah, running a team and running a business, you're going to make mistakes, and I think that's an important part of business, is to make mistakes and then learn from them and acknowledge that mistake and go, okay, I'm just not going to do that again, or if I'm going to do it again, it's going to happen in a different way.
Do it better, do it smarter.
Do it better.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you mentioned that being employed by ANZ, you've got this now opportunity to be your own franchisee.
Yep.
So how did that come about?
So don't quote me exactly, but ANZ roughly 10 or so years ago started ANZ Mobile Lending, what's a franchised arm of ANZ, and we specialise in home and investment lending, but we can also look after the business lending side as well. And I was already working in a branch, but I was ready to move on, and had been looking at other opportunities both overseas and also inside Australia with ANZ. But a close friend of mine who had a franchise at the time said, look, why don't you come work for me for a few years, see if you like it, and then from there, look to buy your own. And
Yeah, right.
over those first couple of years, just got to understand the franchise a bit more intimately and understand how it worked, make sure I was comfortable. And it was good to work with for a friend as well, who had good open communication, sort of treated me like a business partner, even though I was an employee under his franchise. And then only 18 months ago, I had the opportunity to buy the mobile lending franchise for Mount Lawley.
Which is a great suburb. Fantastic for us that live in Mount Lawley, so yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and honestly, since then, it's been a dream come true. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I guess before we delve deeper into the, types of clients you deal with, let's a little bit talk about your family life, because as people out there know, myself and Crystal are having a baby in the coming months. You've had a baby in the past few months, so how's that been?
Yes, we welcomed our little baby girl into the world on the 18th of May. So yeah, she's 14 weeks old now and loving every moment of life. But it definitely does throw a spanner into works when, to be honest, my wife's probably busier than me when it comes to running three gyms, and one of them's quite a baby in terms of the business, so it needs a lot more love. And now she's got her own baby to deal with.
Exactly.
So I'm constantly taking off my hat to her to be able to juggle being a mum, a business owner, a wife still, and she's quite a high performer, so she really struggles when she can't get everything done in one day. And I'm like, it's just not how life works.
That's it. There's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah. So we've just had to really, get our priorities fine-tuned to make sure that, Lila, our bub, comes first.
Yep.
Obviously, business is important, because without business, we're not going to have the financial security to look after her, and obviously all the commitments that we currently have. But yeah, just have real structured days, and just, certain times of the day go, no, work down. We're now, looking, spending more time with her, whether we're just playing. For me, I make a real effort to make sure I'm home for bath time every night.
Awesome.
So around 5:36, even though I see a lot of clients at their home in the evening,
yes,
I just let clients know, hey, look, I've got to be home for my daughter's bath time. I can see you at 7. And to be honest, I think that bit of vulnerability, clients actually like.
Yep.
I'm a dad, I'm a father as well, so not just some robot banker.
Exactly. It makes you a bit more familiar with them, because they've got a family or a young family, and they appreciate that you respect your time as well as theirs.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how is the other businesses? And I suppose you don't do much in the day-to-day of those, being that you've got your mobile lending franchise, but I imagine you do a lot for them as well, because it is your family's baby effectively as well.
Yeah, so I support my wife with the 224 gyms with a lot of the Facebook marketing. So even last night, one of our gyms actually turned 6 years old today. So the Mount Lawley Club is six years old today. What's quite a nice achievement. So last night, I was madly getting some last Facebook ads done, and my manager of the club was sending me some artwork and uploading some ads to Facebook just for a quick little 24-hour aggressive campaign.
Awesome.
So constantly right on my feet with regards to the marketing side of things. But then I'll also be a soundboard for the area manager, Elliot, to when it comes to next month's marketing campaign and just working out what we can do in terms of attracting new members, and also retention as well of the current members, and things like different equipment that we need to look at changing, and so I would say I still have quite a bit of helping hand in the business.
There's still a role there for you. You haven't been fully kicked out.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So still a good 10, 15 hours a week that needs to be chucked in on top of the mobile lending franchise.
Exactly.
But
that's good.
To be honest, for me, I find that quite a fun part of my week, because it's different to what I currently do day to day.
Because you wouldn't do much of your marketing for ANZ, they do a lot of it.
No, on a local area. So when it comes to flyers and other things like that, but a lot of the major marketing is done by ANZ. But in saying that, the franchisees in WA do group together and do things like radio and other things and other initiatives. So but mainly local area marketing, not that, call it macro, where it be billboards and TV and
all that stuff.
The social media side of things. Yeah.
That's great. So we talked about family, we talked about multiple businesses, and I suppose the stresses about all those. Let's go into a bit more detail about the lending side of things. So who do you specialise in? Do you have a specialty, or do you just see anyone and everyone?
With mobile lending, we can obviously look after anyone. So there's no issues there. There's no discrimination. Anyone who wants to borrow can borrow. But I've tried to carve out a bit more of a niche market, so to speak, in a few different fields. So medico is one area I do have a lot of clients in, mainly because ANZ has some really neat policy around what we can do for medico professionals. And then a lot of my other clients are also self-employed. I think just because I have small businesses, I'm quite passionate about helping other small businesses, especially all of them are just mums and dads and couples and people who just want to have their own baby. So if I can help them along the way with, home loans and business lending, it feels good.
That's a perfect world, because you've been self-employed, or you are self-employed as well. You know what it takes to get finance for someone who wants to buy a business, or who needs extra equipment finance or something like that. So, or even just to downgrade or hopefully upgrade their home within their business. So I suppose you having your own background knowledge, the areas where people need to trim the fat, and how can we make your financials or total income better to get finance. So are there any tricks of the trade for that, or is it more just like, is there, you have to get this, your finances squared up for 3 months and then that's all good? But from what it sounds like, you like to educate your clients, don't you?
Yeah, look, if we talk specifically around self-employed clients to begin with, depending on where they are in the tax year, it's good to actually catch up with them and have a chat about how their business is going and understand their business quite intimately. And then, if possible, either sit down with the accountant or just give them some advice around, look, if you're looking to buy this new home or expand your business, you are going to need to declare some income, and you can't just have massive amount of expenses through your financials and have a low profit and not take any drawings. So just giving them some advice around what sort of income they would need to declare, in terms of different ideas around looking at what they've currently got in their current and non-current liabilities, whether they should be maybe clearing some debt first before borrowing as well. So because a lot of clients will come to us and they want to buy a new house, but they may already be geared up quite a bit as well. So having it's not an easy conversation, but just saying, hey, maybe look at debt reduction first, and then we can look at something within 3 months or 6 months. So it's good to have that conversation now, so that in 6 months or 9 months' time, they can actually do what they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So everyone out there, make sure that you are dealing with not just your income and expenses, but you're looking at what we call the balance sheet items, your assets and your liabilities, because if your business is, as Karl said already, geared up, then you may not even qualify for any lending.
This is true.
Because you've got too much finance already.
Yeah.
So I guess work with your accountant, work with your lender, and that would either be Karl or myself to help you out there. But I suppose we need to get you guys in a transition phase to get yourself in that better situation and position to be able to get more funding. That's really cool. So small business is your passion and specialty. What are 3 top tips that, apart from cleaning up their books and whatnot, what are 3 top tips that you can give our small business and general business clients. I suppose we'll do 6. Let's do 3 and 3.
Yep.
3 for small business and 3 for general mums and dads that, you know, who are employed, that would hopefully better their position to get some finance.
I think the first tip when it comes to is your living expenses. These days, the banks are delving a lot deeper into what you spend. And, you know, there's been articles in the paper about, you know, the bank wanting to know how much Shiraz and steak you've eaten the last 2 months when it comes to borrowing money. But the honest truth is they do delve deep into all your living expenses. So before you're looking to catch up with your banker, your broker or a mobile lender, it's good to sit down and have a good analysis of what your current spending is and be quite vigilant in understanding what you're actually spending per month and then realising that you may need to pull back in a few certain areas to be able to then borrow. Because if you're spending $6,000-7,000 a month living expenses, but sort of matches your income, it's going to be hard. So and that applies to both.
I was just going to say that applies to both self-employed and employed.
and your mums and dads, or your PAYG as well. I think the big one is definitely around equity or deposit. So having enough savings in the bank or having enough equity in your property. And a lot of people don't really know how much you need. So I suppose that ties in that it's actually worth catching up with someone or sending them an email or giving them a call so they can run some scenarios for you and go, hey, if you wanted to buy this property or you're looking to buy this business, this is the sort of deposit equity you need so that you can either continue to save or whether you need to get some valuation done on property. Potentially maybe there's a guarantor involved, parents. So that's a very big piece of the puzzle.
That's cool.
Having enough funds.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Before we get on to step number 3, I'd like to sort of branch off of that one because we're in the Perth market here and the property market hasn't been the best. The general economy hasn't been the best in the past 2 to 4 years. So I guess you've been around for a little while in lending. How have you seen the changes and how have, well, not just ANZ as a whole, but how have you seen all finance companies out there deal with those changes? Because we may have a lot of people out there and clients that have negative equity and minimal savings. So what have you found that has been a way to get around it, or has there been no way to get around it?
I think it comes down to case by case scenario. In some cases, look, we can get a second valuation done and look at whether there's another option to get more equity there. Guarantors have come into play a lot, especially for the first home buyers market. Sure. So the mums and dads helping out and providing a guarantee and using some of the equity in their home. Yep. But obviously there's a lot of implications with that, so we need to make sure the parents are comfortable and understand the commitment they're doing for their children. And in some cases, Bobby, honestly, we can't do anything. You know, we're getting valuations done on properties in East Perth, and the LVR, the loan to value ratio, is now 120%, meaning they actually owe 20% more than what their property's worth. So the great thing is in most cases, the bank's not going to go, hey, well, margin call, you need to pay down that loan. Yes. They're just unfortunately stuck. Stuck
to just keep paying, no chance to refinance and just keep...
Potentially for now. Yep. The great thing, there is a lot of good lenders out there. So even though, look, I represent ANZ and a mobile lender, there's the likes of Keystart and other government groups that do borrow on minimal deposit.
Right, okay.
So Keystart can sometimes only need 2 or 3% deposit. They will charge a slightly higher rate, but look, they don't charge mortgage insurance. So for some first home buyers, that's a fantastic segment and area they can look to borrow through.
Okay.
And look, genuinely, we will try to do savings plans and keep them with ANZ, but if they're really wanting to buy now and they don't fit ANZ's model, we'll then say, hey, look, potentially go speak to a broker. There are other avenues as well. So, because at the end of the day, our job is to look after customers and make sure that, they're getting the right advice.
Yep. And that's good that you're actually helping people, not whether it brings you, I guess, an income or not. It's, I suppose, your role as a community member is to help the community. So that's really nice that you guys do that. So that's good.
But the equity situation in Perth is a little bit bleak.
Yeah, it's not the best. And I suppose hasn't helped with the banking royal commission that happened earlier on this year. So did that affect you guys much?
Look, every bank has.
And I suppose that's where they're looking at the finer living expense costs, and that was one of the bigger takeaway points I found from the Royal Commission is the over lending and less questions asked in the past, and that's from all banking and finance financial institutions. So
Yeah,
So yeah,
responsible lending these days.
that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
which it always should be. But
Yeah.
you know, it's the same in the accounting game. There's always been 1 or 2% of people that have ruined it for everyone effectively. So yeah, and top tip number 3.
Top tip number 3, honestly, plan. If you're looking to buy a new home or start a new business or expand your business, plan ahead. Not to be rude, don't come to the bank or come to your broker and go, look, I want to do this right now, because it may not work right now. It's better to go, okay, this is my goal within the next 12 months. Reach out to my accountant, my business coach, my advisors, my banker, and put a plan in place so you can do that in 12 months' time. Just because, as I said, potentially maybe you didn't declare enough income on your last tax return, or you're not earning enough right now, enough deposit. There could be a multitude of reasons. Or as you said before, we look at their balance sheet and they just have too many current liabilities in place at the moment, so they're too leveraged up. So it's better to put a plan in place so that they actually get that goal. And that can be from a first home buyer who, look, hey, you may be 4 or 5 grand short in deposit to be able to buy this place. Let's just continue your savings plan. It's great that we've caught up now, because you definitely can afford to buy the place, but you just need a little bit more savings so we can work towards that goal. Or the flip side, a client's looking to buy a commercial factory, but just needed to declare a little bit more income, or we need to wait for one more BAS, just depending on the situation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so planning is really important.
And I suppose that's what we advocate to our clients as well, is because fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Simple as that.
So yeah, and that goes with lending, goes with business, goes with PAYG. Starting young families, you obviously plan for that. So how can your finances be any different? So
very true. I think anything in life you have to plan for, and why would buying a home, buying a business, or anything be any different? Do you know what I mean? So with marketing, you do a 12-month marketing plan, and you have your whole year planned out ahead. When you're looking to, you guys have a baby on the way soon.
Yes.
You've bought the bassinet, you've bought the pram, you've bought everything under the sun. So you've planned for the baby. So it comes the same with when it comes to lending.
That's awesome, Karl. Thanks very much for those top tips and
Pleasure.
telling us about your story. You're a fantastic guy. And
Thanks, Bobby.
if there's anyone out there that needs some finance, education or needs some lending, I highly recommend Karl Green from ANZ Mobile Franchisee from Mount Lawley.
Thank you, Bobby.
And your details will be at the bottom of the screen. But please let us know your best contact details.
Yeah. So honestly, you can reach out to me if you're looking me up on the internet. If you type in Karl Green with a K or Mobile Lending Mount Lawley, you'll find me straight away through the ANZ Mobile Lending portal. Otherwise, feel free to give me a call. My number's quite easy. I promise you it's not fake. It's 0410 773 773.
What a great show. You know what, you were saying like you help self-employed and business people, and you're both really in that space. It's really interesting to have 2 business people in the studio that have got young families. And I think that's probably one of the questions a lot of business people just coming out of finance for a minute would go, look, I'm running a business. How do you guys manage it? How are you juggling this work-life balance?
Well, managing a young family, which I don't have yet, but preparing to manage for it, it's very stressful.
Very true.
As you know, because of the fact that you need what we've done, we've had to hire some more staff members to take care of both myself and Crystal, wouldn't say exiting the business, but having less time within the business because, as Karl mentioned in the show, baby is of #1 priority. And with that, you want to grow your family and you want to better your life, and that's why we started our business. So why should the business sort of take that away from us at the same time? So we've sacrificed the last few years to grow the business and build it up to a level where we can have a child, which we plan for, because of the fact that, we start a business, we're not going to have a baby straight away because we couldn't afford it back in the day of starting the business. But now we're at a position where, hey, listen, we've got some business growth, we've got some stability, we've got some structure in the business, and really makes sense that we were able to start trying this year, and for us in a few months' time we'll have our little girl.
Yeah, and reinforcing what Bobby said, you need support. So even now with my business getting to the point where obviously I've got a little girl, I'm looking to hire staff now so that I can pull back in certain areas and have some more support. And if you don't have that luxury of being able to hire staff maybe because of cash flow or savings right now. You just have to have real good structure in your day and really carve out certain parts of your day where you're not working or where you are working, and it may mean your hours get a bit more weird if you're a small business owner and all that. And I was just joking to Bobby before that if I'm really busy and I just need 30 minutes just to get something done really quick, I'll put my phone on flight mode and just be, sole focused on that one task, zoned in, because it's really easy these days to get distracted by technology. Yeah.
It's interesting, so you've got your staff that you've got to manage as well, but interesting with yourself, Karl, you're running, with your family, you've actually got other businesses. I picked up during the interview, you've got 3 gymnasiums. How does that splinter things, or does that make things more cohesive? How does that work? Because we hear so often people say, focus on one thing and only be good at one thing, and yet you and your wife, you've got 2 things. Well, with 3 gyms, you've actually got 4 things going on.
Look, divide and conquer to start with, so you definitely have to split the workload and specialise in different areas. But it does splinter a bit, and you will find certain days where I've got my phone ringing and there's a customer ringing, then one of my staff's ringing, then I'm getting an email from a personal trainer, and I suppose you just have to find peace and calm in that chaos and just break down the day and realise everything doesn't have to be done that in that one day, and it can go on to the next day or the next day. And sometimes I think we get caught up that you have to get back to a customer or get back to someone within 30 seconds or answer that phone call. Look, you do have to look after that people, and you do have to give excellent customer service, but it doesn't have to be instant. And these days the world's getting so fast, and I think we get caught up in that.
Sorry, before you go, Michael, I was just, as we were joking off air before, our phones and our communication, it's at the palm of our hand. So if a client's calling us or whatever it may be, someone's calling us, they know you've got your phone in your pocket. They know that you can feel the vibrate of the message. They know you can hear the email pop up or the messenger or whatever it may be. It's just like, and that's where you said nothing needs to be done. Nothing's that urgent that needs to be done in that 30 seconds. If it was that urgent, they should have contacted you a week ago. So I suppose that's the biggest, take-home point for that. When you've got all these distractions coming through, you just need to zone in and make sure that you've got that task at hand at play.
Yeah.
One thing I do find interesting when you're working with business people, and like yourself, Bobby, you're running your own business, you're running your own staff, you've got your own things you've got to do, but you actually sit down with businesses and spend time with them and get to understand them. I picked that up from when you were talking as well, Karl. How important or what does it give you by having your own business to understand and empathise and assist business owners just beyond basically doing the books in your case, Bobby?
Well, I guess that comes down to why we started our business, Michael, was because when I was employed by an accounting firm, yes, I knew business and whatnot, but I didn't know business. Now being self-employed, I know the mistakes that business owners make. I know the issues that come about with hiring staff. I know the issues that come about with staff being away on leave, or the gaining clients and losing clients, whatever it may be. I know that's the emotional factor. So now when sitting down with clients, I know exactly, hey, I know what you're going through, but before, or in this case, say, before you do that, these are the mistakes we made or that I've found from other business clients, so don't do that, and effectively fast-tracking, their business growth, which I suppose you would see a lot with your lending.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just sharing knowledge, sharing life lessons from yourself and things you've learned along the years, so that clients don't make those mistakes or they make less of those mistakes. Knowledge is power, and definitely it's worth sharing that intellectual engine of horsepower of brain.
That's right.
That things you've learned and things you can pass on to clients.
And for your case of dealing with clients wanting to get finance, you can help them plan. If they come to see you potentially within 6 months of wanting to get finance, you can help them plan to, okay, you're dining out 4 times a week, maybe cut that back a little bit or whatever it may be. So
Definitely.
There's something about the two of you. You've really got a passion, not just for your own businesses, but helping other people. And it's interesting to see business people, they're growing their families and still running their businesses. And I suppose the question comes, what drives you? And at the end of the day, What is it you would like to be remembered for as a business person? What is your ethos? What's your character behind this that you think is making you successful?
I just want to be remembered for looking after people, being almost like, if for my small business clients, being almost like a partner in their business and being that extra mentor for them. So look, I'm not looking for clients who I just look after once. I want to look after clients and then meet their children and help their children one day. So I'm looking for that long-term relationship. And it was really nice the other week that one of my long-term clients who I've known since I was 16, when I first joined ANZ, as a part-time teller, invited me over to his house to meet his fourth daughter. And it was just so beautiful to hold this little girl. And then we joked, I was like, wow, like you first met me when I was really only a kid when I was 16. So yeah.
I think it's my ethos is exactly the same as yours. It's I want to be your, well, you put it, your as a partner in the business. Well, I suppose both of us, we could call ourselves, we want to be your CFO within your business, helping with your finances, helping with your business growth, which you've got certain specialties to help grow the business. I've got certain specialties to help grow your business. And I think having that trusted partner, be it a finance broker or your accountant, helping you grow your business, I think that's a massive part where, especially small business, they can't afford multiple directors and multiple business partners. So having us as a part of your team, that's what I want to be remembered at. And likewise for yourself, we're not here for the short term, we're here for the long term. We want to help you from all stages of your life, whether it's you starting your business to when you want to sell your business in 20 years' time. That's effectively where we want to be and want to be your trusted partners throughout that whole time. So.